everybody. They're like our new intro. We've just eliminated all the visuals, gone for a great big visual of all of us being goofy. You'd think it was a Friday around here. It's not, it's Wednesday. I'm Beth Nolan, and I'm here again with the PAC team. And today we're going to be looking at Rubies, and specifically how it is that we approach and connect people living in a Ruby state. So, for those of you that guys know Teepa's work quite a bit, let's take a moment, for those who don't, and get everybody up to speed. We talk about Rubies, we're talking about people living with dementia, or anybody at a moment of brain change. Tell me a little bit about what you guys know about Rubies. What are some of the things that come to mind in terms of abilities and skills, but then also things that are maybe lost with Rubies?
Well, I know that Rubies is often the time when people stop seeing what is possible with them.
Ah, so that's hence the red color, huh? We stop seeing what's possible anymore. Maybe even stop seeing the person inside. It's a really important one, Catherine.
Yeah, but we can still connect with them with rhythm and big motions.
Yeah, so the skill that they have, skill that Rubies have, and any of us in a Ruby state, we're exhausted enough, we're starving enough, we are overwhelmed and stressed enough. Rhythm is something that really is retained. Rhythm's retained. Okay, what else?
I'm wondering, Beth, and I'm not 100% sure, but is your tone of voice and your movements, I mean, is your tone of voice really important at this stage or not?
That's a good one. Team, what do you guys think? Is it tone of voice? Because we know, what about language? So she's getting, I want to separate language and tone here because she's asking about tone. Is there a lot of language, just to bring everybody up to speed?
Expressive and receptive language abilities, there's not too much left in terms of comprehension and articulation.
Nice, but our Rubies can pick up some things about tone, like Christy said. Exactly, so what can they pick up? What can we understand if we're in a Ruby state with tone then?
Rhythm of speech?
Yeah.
Hey. Huh? Wait, you gonna, do we know the difference between a question mark and a statement? Think that's retained for Rubies?
Oh, sure.
They can also hear the intensity of your voice.
Catherine, sit down. Versus speak. Catherine, sit down. That's nice. Pick up that. What else? What about speed and pace?
Oh, I was actually going to mention that, yeah, the shifting from yellow to red makes me think of, like, I need to really slow down. I think of, like, driving a car. I know not stopping completely, but I'm definitely going to slow what my normal pace is quite a bit to work with someone in a Ruby state.
So pace is a really big change here. I can't go too fast, because what happens, Alejandro, or anybody, if we go too fast with a Ruby?
Yeah, there may not be enough processing time. I mean, that I think it's like 6 seconds, right? Where there's a video of Teepa working with someone she asks the question, and 6 seconds later, the guy gives a completely fine response, but it took that time to process.
So if I give a Ruby a visual, what do I got to do after I get that visual? Give that visual.
Wait.
If I give a Ruby a word, so they're picking up a tone, what do I got to do at that point? Wait. Nice. Anything else I've missed that comes to mind with Rubies?
Yeah, I don't know if I missed this, but they lose skill.
So we do this.
But they maintain strength.
You guys do what Catherine's doing if you didn't see it. They lose skill, but I maintain strength. Right? So Rubies are going to pick up a pen this way or this way. Right, that scooping motion. Nice. Okay, so now we're talking about greeting Rubies. Let's take a quick look at our normal steps of PPA, right? So here's our just straight up recipe for approaching and connecting with any person. What are you guys seeing here that's a little bit different for Rubies based on what you guys said? What are some things that come to mind?
That move slow, it like slowly is in here a couple times, but I think for, you know, if I'm not used to working with someone in a Ruby state, my normal slow may not be slow for a Ruby. So there's no time per se in here, but it's definitely going to be different than what I could be used to.
Right. So Alejandro, show me that. If you were to give me a signal that you wanted to greet me, and I'm thinking at 5'10", I'm probably more rigid diamond. I'm not my true blue go with the flow sapphire here in spite of my lying color of my shirt, right? So if I need a very clear visual, how fast would you say hi to me if you wanted to shake my hand?
Hey, Beth.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Okay. How much slower would that have to be? Diamond, emerald, amber, ruby.
Do you want me to try it? I'll take a deep breath before I do, because.
Okay.
Beth. Hey. That's really hard.
I was
Yeah.
giving a little bit of visuals there, wasn't I? Let's take a look at a simulated Ruby. So this is one of our PAC mentors who's really skilled at portraying a Ruby. So this is Lynn and one of our mentors, Abby, approaching. And I want you guys just to look at that in terms of these steps of PPA. So we're going to go ahead and give a visual. Usually we have it as a hi by the face, don't we? So one thing we didn't talk about with Rubies, where's Ruby's visual field? Show me.
Monocular.
Monocular vision. So close down one eye, right? So look around your space if you're doing this with us on Facebook. And how much of your world could you see if Alejandro held up his hand and gave us a hi? I'm looking down, am I going to see him? Ooh, changes a lot, doesn't it? So let's go ahead and watch Abby and see if we can pick up what happens for her and for Lynn. Can you guys see this all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I'm going to keep the sound off, by the way, because there's a lot of talking in the background. And does sound really matter for Rubies in terms of the words?
Mm-hmm.
No. So a skilled mentor like Abby is not going to use very many. So let's watch what happens. All right. What did you guys notice?
Abby moved her hand into the visual field very slowly.
So she knew Lynn was about here. So Abby chose to, rather than hi by the face, she did hi where? In her
Visual field.
in her visual field.
Where
Yeah.
she was paying attention to.
Yeah.
Where she saw she was looking already. Nice. Why didn't you think she put her whole body down in there if she wanted to see her face?
Well, one important thing, because I actually have seen someone get down on the floor,
Uh-huh.
is it makes you end up like this. And human beings generally don't like looking at people like this, because I'm kind of assuming you're all a little bit uncomfortable right now. If I just stayed like that.
It was hard to see her face, wasn't that? Nice. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. But what was Lynn able to do when Abby held out her hand? Where did you see
She
her?
definitely got curious.
Yeah, she got really curious. Oh, do that. Do that. That is a strength that everyone retains, that curiosity. Nice. Okay, let's look at this, because one of the things we talked about in terms of altering the things that have to change for Rubies is that Alejandro or someone else brought up was pace. So she started off really well. Let's look at one more before we kind of close out today of maybe what happens if we get the pace going nice and slow, but then something changes a little bit at the end. So watch what happens for Abby and Lynn now. So what did you notice that was a little bit different this time at the end? What happened? What did Abby do? Yeah, there was a big smile. Lynn's startled. Why do you think she got startled? There could be a couple of different reasons.
Maybe not expecting Abby's face to be so close to her. She didn't
So maybe she came in a little bit close with her face. Let's take a look at that again and see if that is maybe the issue. So we'll start it back again.
Knowing you have a skirt on, which makes a difference because you can't do this, right? You want to pull a chair here? Do you want to watch and see?
So far, so good. Not startled yet.
Let's watch it and let's.
Oh, so what was the startle? Did you guys get that? Was that right, Keith?
Lynn was still looking at the hand. So she missed Abby moving her body.
She missed the fact that Abby's body came, so you said originally that it was too close, too soon. Nice. What else did you guys pick up? It was a little bit different with this PPA.
Would a verbal, at that point when she was looking at her hand, would a verbal, hi, Lynn, maybe to get her to look up before she moves in, or something else?
So let's figure that out. That's a great question. So a lot of times we want to do this. How many things can Lynn handle at a time? About one. Okay, so Christy's thinking after she's seen her hand, would it be helpful if Abby spoke? So she sees her hand and she's starting to get curious about it.
I don't know that it would be helpful if Abby was moving and talking. Like if it was maybe if Christy's saying like she stays in that position and maybe, yeah, but a move and the verbal at the same time may not work as we wanted to.
So go back to Ruby's skills, guys. This gave me an idea. What are some of the skills that Ruby has that we talked about that they've got?
Curiosity.
So if you could use that sense of curiosity, if I'm curious, I've got the hand, I'm starting to travel, but I'm kind of getting stuck. What sorts of things could make, with verbal, could make her curious to look up and then maybe see your face?
Her name?
Would be her name.
Mhm.
People
Yes.
respond to their name.
So everyone responds to their name. That is a truly, do this, guys. That's one of those emotion-filled words. Alejandro's like, how do I do that? Those emotion-filled words that's going to stay with us. So if we know that they're stuck for a second, and all I'm doing is looking at the hand, but I'm not doing that travel that Lynn was doing with her eyes up to her face, that may be a time when I want to add something that's going to make sense. And how many things and in what tone am I going to use? One word. Nice and soft. Nice. So the rubies in your life, when do you guys encounter rubies that you might want to think about how it is I can alter these steps of approach and connect? When do you guys encounter even momentary rubies if you're not living with people living with dementia?
I was a Ruby today when I was totally focused on my laptop and on a project, and someone startled me by coming into the room because I was so focused on what I was doing.
I love it. So Shelley's talking about the fact that maybe it's just becoming aware of when we ourselves are rubies, even in just a split second. So what'd you do, Shelley? Did you find a weapon and lash out of startled, or how did
I just kind of had that scared, the flight kind of thing. Right.
the flight thing?
What the heck,
And then you were able to scan the room, and then where did your gun go?
Yep.
Yeah, nice awareness. What about for anybody else? Anybody living with rubies?
I'm not living with a person living with dementia who's in Ruby state, but my 2-year-old is, I think, sometimes in a Ruby state. So if I'm walking with her and I want to actually get somewhere, I need to remember to sometimes just not interrupt and not start talking about something if my end goal was to actually just travel to the end point. Because it's so easy once I open my mouth for us to just, she will stop. And then it's whatever I just mentioned is now the thing that we're going to be on for a while. So
Taking a walk with a toddler is more the journey and not the destination, isn't it? I forgot about that with a 14-year-old. That's a really good example. Finding those rubies in our lives and finding ways to support them so we can get our agenda met, as well as actually live life to the fullest with everyone around us and not startle our rubies, right? Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time today. And are we going to dance ourselves out, Carrie, or do you think we should just like have the normal wave off?
I think we should dance ourselves out. So
I think it's appropriate for Rubies.
yes, definitely appropriate for Rubies. All right, here we go, guys.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help us spread TEEPS's positive approach message around the world. And don't forget to click the bell to get notified when new videos are posted.